All right, everybody, we've got to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart here because I just got an email through from Phil Adam over at Intellivision, and, well, there's a lot to unpack here. For those of you who are not familiar with Intellivision, what it is, and the controversy called the Intellivision Amico. Intellivision was a retro video game system that came out in the 1970s. They produced cartridge-based games very similar to like the Atari 2600, the ColecoVision, and had some cool stuff back in the day. Now, they basically were run by Mattel at the time, and over time, as things are likely to happen, Mattel basically got rid of the IP, sold it off, and changed hand a couple of times. And then in 2017, 2018 time or so, Tommy Tallarico ended up buying the Intellivision name, got the rights to all of everything that had to do with it, and said that they were coming out with a new console. And in fact, they announced that at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo in 2018, and it was called the Amico. And the only thing that we knew at that point in time was the controllers were going to look like the original Intellivision controllers, but have a lot of new technology built into it. Time has gone on, and like I say, it was announced in 2018. It's 2023. Still ain't here. Now, a lot of people have had issues with the way that it's been marketed, with the way that things have been communicated with Tommy himself. There has been a long time spat between Tommy and the guys, Pat and Ian, over at the CU podcast, somewhat justifiably on both sides. They've both flung a lot of poo at each other, and quite honestly, nobody really came out looking good initially, but as time has gone on, Pat and Ian definitely kind of show that they had their finger right on the pulse of everything that was going on. We actually, and when I say we, myself and a fellow YouTuber by the name of Life with Matthew, make sure you check out his channel. I have it linked for you right up there. We actually interviewed Tommy, and it was either February or March of 2019. It was before the very first announcement of a delay. And going into that interview, I was a skeptic. Like, I was interested in it, but main reason I was interested in it was for Earthworm Jim 4. That was it. And at this point in time, the system was still like, it was $249, I want to say, was the price, and maybe they had the $279, $299 price point, but it was between $250 and $300. And for one game, like, I wasn't really buying it, and that's why I wanted to talk to Tommy. And we asked him some hard questions respectfully, and Tommy seemed kind of taken aback when I basically brought up the fact that, like, I'm the only one in my house that games. Couch co-op, not a thing here. The Amico, not going to change that. And he seemed not put off, but like confused that like that could be something that could exist out there, that like someone could live in a house where it's just them that wanted to play games. Well, I kind of knew what I had, and you know, it's one of those. I'm glad that I did not put a deposit down on the system. I was tempted, and I still really think that the Ferrari red looking one looks neat. I can't deny that. Never put any money down on it. Matthew actually did reserve a system. Thankfully, he's gotten his money back on it. Since that point in time, you know, since February 2019, there's been another delay. More delays, a change in who is running Intellivision. From all kind of looks around it, Tommy is pretty much just a figurehead or a money person at this point, and Phil Adam is the CEO. And for those who are not familiar with Phil Adam, Phil was also involved with another failed launch of a retro-type console called the Coleco Chameleon. Intellivision, Coleco both came out around the same time, at least originally in the 70s and 80s. The thing that both systems, at least to this point, have in common is neither one of them have come out. And in fact, the Coleco Chameleon was outed as being a tremendous fraud and very dishonest. They took a sample because they were using Atari Jaguar casings, essentially, that they got the rights to the molds and everything. And that's what they were going to use for the Coleco Chameleon. Well, they took it to a trade show, and it ended up being a Super NES Junior stuffed inside of this case and everything, running like a ROM card. and things just unraveled from there. Well, Phil Adam has been in charge of Intellivision now for a little bit, and things have not gotten any better on that front. And in fact, he just sent out an email that we got yesterday, which I wanted to take a look at, go through, and kind of call a spade for lack of a better term. So let's dive in. So here you can see the email up on screen here. And this came on May 22nd, 2023. Interesting, they sent it at 10 p.m. at night. Like, okay, so Pacific time, that's 8 o'clock. Still, why are they sending out a newsletter that late at night? That just seems weird. So he starts this newsletter with: the last 18 months since becoming the CEO has been an extremely difficult time for the Intellivision business. A long list of disappointments from both inside and outside of the company had to be taken head on. What terrible sentence structure. I've just got to throw that out there. During this time, we laid off a large portion of our staff, or they quit. I mean, there is that too, because they weren't getting paid. Restructured our management team and began the process of reevaluating every aspect of the business, which included the path that lay ahead for Intellivision. What we have distilled down from the countless hours of self-assessment is that we are, or more accurately wish to be, in the business of creating a living room experience that brings people of various ages together in group play. You know what? That is a noble thing to want to do, to bring people together. Hats off to you. Give you credit for that. But you know what? I can wish in one hand and bleep in the other, and you know which hand is going to fill up more quickly. It is the experience between people sitting in the same room that will be our primary measure of success. Unit sales, profit, revenue, that's how most companies go ahead and determine success. But okay, so you want to base it on how many people are sitting in a room playing games together. Okay, this first and foremost comes from offering great content. No disagreement. The system doesn't matter if the games suck. As an entertainment business, we realize that creating great content requires world-class partners and a focus on strategies where we can effectively achieve the necessary level of excellence to succeed. To this end, we will be announcing a string of new partnerships that will not only help bring fun and innovative content that captures the Amico experience, but also bolsters and celebrates our content's appeal by 1. Licensing our IP to development partners who have product pedigrees that are creatively aligned and best poised to bring something great to the market. 2. Leveraging our IP in ways that ensures delivery on Amico, but additionally expands our content to entirely new audiences Intellivision would otherwise be unable to reach. And 3. Acquiring new IP that embodies Amico and fits our strategic focus. This will include licensing IP for other platforms where it makes sense to do so. So let's unpack a lot of things here that was said, because this is a word salad. This whole thing is a word salad. And trust me, I read the description on any of my videos. I'm an expert on word salads here. So I see a lot of buzzwords, effectively achieving necessary levels of excellence to succeed. Well, I mean, that's kind of the goal of every company, that you want to be excellent and succeed. String of new partners. What happened to all the old ones? Had all these great partners lined up that, poof, where'd they go? Partners? Partner? Oh, partner, where'd you go? They gone. All right, so let's, you're going to get some extra snark in this video, by the way. Let's see, licensing their IPs to development partners. So basically, they're going to farm out development of their IPs to third parties. It would be like having... This is a great analogy. It's like Philips making a Zelda or a Mario game. Those of you who are familiar with the CDI know where I was going with that. Leveraging IP in ways that ensures delivery on Amico, but initially expands content to new audiences. So that's one of those of, we're just going to kind of spitball stuff out there and see what sticks on whatever platforms. Acquiring new IP. I know I ain't that smart, but I ain't that dumb neither. If y'all done running out of money to begin with and you can't get your product to market, how are you going to buy new IP? That doesn't make no sense. That dog don't hunt. So that's one of the things that I'm just like, okay, you're going to go ahead and have new IPs and everything, but you can't afford to conclude business that you had already made promises for? What's going on here? Continuing on here, our commitment to delivering a unique and innovative platform that brings people together has not wavered. What has changed is our philosophy on how to deliver that experience. The business environment is quite different from what it was in 2018. No, not all that different. When the original Intellivision business plan was put together, we cannot solely be dependent on the traditional hardware console business model. The cost and time to scale such business is too great. Duh. Like, these are conversations that should have been held in 2017 and 2018. We must be more creative in how we deploy our intended entertainment experience, not only delivering a better experience for our customers, but also reducing the time and cost to scale the business. So basically, we need to figure out how to make this pyramid scheme work as quickly as possible because we're out of money, folks. We want to assure our fans that shipping a console remains a part of our product strategy. The development and hands-on testing of our pilot units have been a successful step forward. As a testament to this progress, we are pleased to share with you this video of a father and son playing Shark on one of the pilot units in their home. So, shipping a console is a strategy, but not the strategy. So here's my question. For those people out there that bought the physical games, which aren't physical games because it's an RFID card. If you don't have a console, what the hell are you going to play those on? I mean, come on. And I if you're going to have someone who is going to be a developmental test partner, name them. Especially if you're going to utilize them in something like this. Share with, we are pleased to share with you this video of generic names here, father and son. Like, who are they? Let me know. Like, this seems just cold. This just is like, okay, hey, thanks. We're just going to call you father, son. Nah, like, maybe keep the name of the kid out of there because he's under 18. But at least name the dad, name the channel, name the partner you're working with. This just, no. And I'm not degrading the fact that this person was a partner of theirs. I'm saying that Intellivision should have done more to celebrate and acknowledge that. That was kind of a lame thing right there. As a part of our expanded strategy, we also plan to bring the Amico experience to other hardware platforms, starting with mobile devices under the name Amico Home. Amico Home will dramatically reduce the hardware footprint needed to enjoy Amico games and provide more developers the opportunity to explore the creative potential of in-room multiplayer games with our innovative physical and smartphone controllers. This broadening of the talent pool will bring new ideas in gaming that will shape the future of Intellivision and our place in the market. Okay. First of all, run-on sentence much. Second of all, I was told that, sure, you could use a smartphone as a controller. It would work in a pinch. But really, the best gaming experiences, you needed the Amico controller. That's what basically separated Amico from everything else out there. You know, these worked, but you don't have any tactile buttons in the roller thing and or the scroll wheel and all that stuff. So, who's full of crap here? Was Tommy full of crap back in the day saying only on Amico that the controller has to be everything and the smartphone is just like an auxiliary type of controller? Or is Phil full of crap here saying, well, you know, you could use a smartphone or you could use the Amico controller and you're going to have a similar experience with either one. You're going to have fun regardless. I think that there's something definitely it doesn't sit right with me on a number of different levels. Also, so what they're saying here, other hardware and platforms, starting with mobile devices under the name Amico Home. So I can see them doing like an Apple Arcade release where you would have Amico Home titles available through the iTunes Store, through Google Play, through the Amazon Fire Store, things along those lines. And I mean, it makes sense that these were primarily mobile phone games to begin with. So we are excited for this future and what it means for bringing the Amico experience to the public. Those who have supported Intellivision early on helped set the foundation for all that we have been able to achieve, and we are truly thankful for all of you. In the coming weeks, those that have maintained a deposit will be able to sign in and verify their spot on the priority list, the Amico Club list. The Amico Club list will be used as the primary mechanism to prioritize access to special products, early access to new games, and other unique offers. More details to follow. Again, we thank you for your patience and support as we chart a new course for Intellivision and establish our own unique position in the vast and vibrant video game industry. Signed, Phil Adams, CEO, the same person who personally banned me because I had a disagreeing statement about his position within the video game industry and basically called his integrity into question, but he blocked me and kicked me out of the Facebook group for the Intellivision Amico. And quite honestly, I was just in there to kind of keep an eye on what was going on. So what do I think of this? Well, I think it underscores a few things here. When Matthew and I talked to Tommy back in 2019, one of the things that Matthew brought up was the engine used and whatnot, and that it had all of these buzzwords and whatnot associated with it. And we found out since then that the emotion engine it was called. That basically it was all bullshit, and which is unfortunate to hear and unfortunate to see. But that's what it was. It ended up being smoke and mirrors. Again, I think Pat and Ian, you can like them, you cannot. I don't have a close relationship with either of those guys. I've talked to Pat once or twice, kind of That's kind of how Pat is a lot of times when he's at shows. Ian, I have a lot of respect for. Ian, when we hit 5,000 subscribers on this channel, came into our live stream, hung out with the chat, and chatted with you, our audience, and was like totally cool. And engaging with the fans here on our channel, and gave of himself, and didn't have to do that. And I had a chance the following year at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo to see Ian in person and to thank him personally for that. He didn't need to do that. And that to me spoke of Ian's character as a person. And I can disagree with someone and not be disagreeable. And that was kind of one of the things I talked to Tommy about in our live stream, is the fact that, Pat is Pat, and that's just how he is. And same with Ian. They both have very strong personalities, and they don't candy coat things. But at the same time, when was the last time you heard of a CEO responding to, and no disrespect to Pat or Ian intended in this, every YouTuber with an opinion on the internet? When was the last time you heard that? It isn't traditionally done. And the fact that Phil messaged me personally before he dropped the ban hammer on me in the Facebook group, thin skin. I think in the end, this is pretty much the death knell for the Amico hardware. Why would you spend north of $350 on a piece of hardware now that Intellivision themselves are saying, yeah, you don't really need? I mean, it's nice if you can have it, but you don't really need it. Even the controllers, which, you have to have two controllers. That's why this is for in the living room. You're going to have two controllers so two people can play couch co-op, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, no, we're going to release another version now with only one controller. And now you may be able to just buy the controller separate and don't even need a console and be able to pair it to, again, your Switch or a Fire TV, or, they may do like Stadia or something like that. My take on the Amico, like I mentioned initially, was I was interested, I was intrigued, but I didn't think it was going to be a piece of hardware for me, but I didn't hate it. Like, I wasn't upset that there was something coming out that wasn't for me. I did not think it was a scam. I did not think it was a fraud out of the gates. I think it spiraled out of control, and while not intended to be that, it has definite smells of being a scam. They may end up shipping to those who have pre-ordered, and that's about it, and hand assemble those units here in the States. That's possible. That may happen. I don't doubt that these physical units these pilot units are being sent, but how close to production are they? We saw the unboxing that they did over a year ago that there was spelling errors on the box. I just don't have confidence in the crew that's left there anymore, that they can put together a competent product. I mean, Phil Adam has not ever released, to the best of my knowledge, at least between the ColecoVision, the Coleco Chameleon and the Intellivision Amico, between those two, he's yet to ship a product. What does that mean? I don't know. My advice to you is, if you still have a pre-order on the Amico, get your money out as soon as you can. I don't foresee this being a viable option. I wouldn't spend money on any of those games that you could get the physical RFID things if you could still get your hands on them. Don't. You may not be able to ever. You may have spent whatever they were. I thought they were like $150 for that 6-pack or whatever it was, but that's throwing good money after bad at something that you may never. You'll have a nice shelf display is what you'll have. If you want to hold out faith for the Amico, that's on you. If you want to buy these games once they come to other platforms, that's on you as well. There may be a couple that I go ahead and pick up. But again, the only game I was interested in was Earthworm Jim 4, and the fact that they have had to scrub all reference of that release from anywhere that they have, it's pretty telling. But these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Different sort of video for us here. And I don't like to do the drama thing, but I think this isn't about drama. I think this is more about analyzing what's being shared versus what's being said. And I think this, without a doubt, permanently kills the idea of only on Amico. It's just dead. If they're talking about licensing to other platforms, only on Amico isn't a thing anymore. And the fact that you'll be able to play it potentially with the Amico controller on other hardware, why do you need the Amico at all? I mean, I would hesitate to say you even need the Amico controller if you can just use, a standard Android or iOS smartphone. There's no need for it. Save yourself that $350. Invest in, get yourself a Switch OLED, a proven platform that has shipped, has great titles. It is family friendly. It has multiplayer to it, and you can get classic games on it from the Intellivision. So, again, these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And let me know, too, were you someone who was initially excited about the Amico? Did you pre-order one? And if you did you cancel it, or do you still have your pre-order open and available? Now, one thing I will say, too, is, like I mentioned, I don't do drama. I don't care which side of the fence you're on. I don't. If you love the Amico and you're all about it, then you know what? God bless. And if you hate the Amico and thought that it was a fraud from day one, God bless. I will say the few times that I have met and talked to Tommy Tallarico, he was a wonderfully pleasant individual. I have enjoyed my conversations with him. He is the type of person who is wonderfully creative, but I think the details kind of not his specialty. And that's not uncommon to have a creative person not be a good operational type person. So it's tough. It just is. And I think that this just needs to die. I hate to say it. I would like to see, like to see is the wrong term to use, but I think Intellivision, the Amico, I think they need to go through bankruptcy. I think someone needs to purchase all of the licenses, make it their own. Heck, it could be Sony, it could be Nintendo, it could be Microsoft. But this current ownership group, they need to stay as far away from the Intellivision IP as they possibly can. Now, if you haven't checked it out, it was a marathon interview with Tommy Tallarico. Nearly 4 hours. I will have that link for you right here where you can go ahead, you can check that out. It was interesting. I did not do the best during the first hour of that interview. But I think as time went on, it got better and better. I think we got more answers. And we got kind of the straight truth from Tommy in that too. So make sure you check that out.